Hi class, you are well on your way in week 7, and I wanted to post this video about week 8 and a little bit of week 7 early for you so you can be really on top of all of your activities. A couple things I want to point out. The Forks Over Knives debate is going really well. Many of you have already posted your initial posts, and so I hope you're really enjoying that documentary. This week, you have 2 Learn Smarts due for next week, as always, ahead of time. Chapter 7 and 8. Chapter 8 is very light, so you might have been panicking thinking, why is this woman giving us 2 chapters in a week? We are barely scratching the surface of chapter 8. We really just need to understand how we metabolize alcohol. And so if I open up our week 8 here, we'll take a look at what you have, and you can see your Learn Smart for chapter 8 is actually very short. It's going to be the shortest Learn Smart you do. In addition, you have a few content items here that really just focus you in on how we're going to metabolize alcohol. That is the key. Really, your primary in this information is chapter 7. And so you also have an exam coming up, an exam 2, and that's available for you right here. And you can see that this covers chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. But literally, you will have 3 questions on chapter 8. And you will have 10 to 11 questions coming from each of the other chapters. And so I want to tell you that as well so you know how to prepare for this exam. This exam will follow just like your last exam. You will have approximately a minute a question, and I give you a buffer of about 5 minutes to move from one question to the next and so forth. You all did really well in the last exam, and so I imagine this exam will go even better. Do make sure, though, that now that our content has gotten a little bit more heavy, that you go back through those videos, the activities, and so on, because that will really help you. As we move over back in here to week 8, you'll also notice that your activity this week is combined, and that's because I only want to focus you a little bit on some of the things for chapter 8. And so that's why I went ahead and did a combined activity for you. Now let's move out of here and let's look at week 9, because this is where you're going to see a change. And this change is pretty important for how you approach week 8. You will see here that you have an extension on this Learn Smart. You have that because week 8 is pretty full. And you can see you have an exam. You're going to select your topic for the diet debate paper, which we'll talk about in a moment. And so because this week is a little heavy, I changed week 9 a little bit. And so you'll see here that you have an extension on this due date. So this Learn Smart and this activity are due at the same time. So that way you're not interrupted in focusing on what you need to focus on for your exam 2 and everything that you have going on in week 8, that you can begin week 9 a little bit fresh and moving into that work. But you'll also see that this week is pretty light. All we have is we're working on the diet debate paper, and you have a Learn Smart and activity. But we're going to get back onto our regular schedule for the following week, which we'll talk about later. So I just wanted to make sure I showed you this so you knew how to focus your time. In addition, starting for week 8, you're going to be selecting your topic for your diet debate paper. This is one of your major projects for the class, and you can find everything you need for the diet debate paper here. You will also be able to find a video here that explains all of my expectations and how to complete your diet debate paper. And so I will have you watch that video in order to figure out the best way to approach this assignment. Past that, you're going to have a wonderful week 8. I just know it. And please let me know if you have any questions.